Today we're talking about cheap filament. Is cheap filament bad for 3D printing? Is it bad for my 3D printer? Today we're going to break down some of these variables when it comes to cheap filament versus, well, everything else. 3D printing enthusiasts often ponder whether using expensive filament versus inexpensive affects their print negatively. The question is, should you invest in premium brands? Or can you get by on a budget? Let's dive into the pros and cons of cheap filament to help you make a better decision. Much of the filament market is dominated by a few manufacturers in China. These companies produce filament for many brands, often resulting in similar products under different labels. You mean to say we're getting tricked sometimes? No. When deciding between cheap and expensive filaments, consider the origin and ethical implications. Supporting local manufacturers can ensure you're purchasing a product that is made under strict regulations, which also helps the economy and promotes ethical manufacturing. The next thing I want to talk about is consistency. A major concern with cheap filament is it lacks consistency. Reliable print quality often depends on the uniformity of the filament. Users report that premium filaments typically offer better consistency, and this leads to superior print outcomes. While budget brands can be reliable, they occasionally suffer from quality control issues, causing inconsistent diameters and impurities that can jam or damage extruders. Cheap filament might be suitable for non-critical parts, but for prints that are high quality and requiring high dimensional accuracy and strength, you're going to want a higher quality filament because it's going to be a noticeable difference. I've seen people that have variation diameters ranging from 1.75 millimeters all the way up to 3.5 millimeters. And that's obviously going to impact your print quality. Another thing to think about is additives and moisture. Additives in filament can greatly affect performance. Some higher-end PLA filaments include additives that reduce moisture sensitivity, which helps maintain filament quality over time. Premium filaments often come with features like resealable bags, silica to help manage the moisture, and that can sometimes be a big deal. Now let's talk about layer heights and speeds. Printing at various layer heights can highlight differences between cheap and expensive filaments. Issues are more evident at finer layer heights. While cheap filaments can sometimes achieve satisfactory results at larger layer heights, but they may require slow print speeds to avoid quality issues. This compromise might be acceptable for some users, but can be a drawback for those needing prints at faster times at higher quality. To conclude this, is cheap filament bad for 3D printing? It largely depends on your specific needs and quality of the filament you choose. For casual or non-critical projects, budget filament can be adequate and cost-effective. However, for high-precision, strong, and detailed prints, investing in higher quality filament is probably going to result in a better print and fewer frustrations. Ultimately, the right filament choice depends on your needs, budget, and values. Understanding the trade-offs and benefits of each option will help you make a better decision on what filament you need. And you're probably looking for an honest answer from me, right? Honestly, guys, I'm right in the middle of this. If I'm printing something that's super high quality with like higher standards, I'm obviously going to use a higher end filament. But if it's a lower grade print for a child or something, I'm going to go with cheap PLA. And I'll throw links to my favorite brands in the description to my top 5 Amazon brands that I buy. Well, I guess they're not Amazon brands. They're brands sold on Amazon. Hit me up in the comments if you guys have any further questions. I'm a normal dude and do reply. And consider subscribing. The print has finally finished, and I gotta say, it looks pretty dang good. Let's take it off the plate here. All right. Man, this thing's cool, right, guys? Look at this thing. Let's go test it out. This thing is beastly. All right, which sword do you want? Big one or small one?
Small.
Small one? All right, let's battle. Oh no, it broke. We'll put it back together.
How did that break? You win.